In a groundbreaking breakthrough that could potentially revolutionize the field of healthcare, scientists have unveiled a discovery that sheds light on the possibility of aging backwards. This remarkable finding challenges conventional beliefs about the irreversible nature of aging and opens up new avenues for exploring ways to defy the aging process. Researchers from leading institutions around the globe collaborated on a study that delved into the intricate mechanisms underlying aging. Their findings, published in the prestigious scientific journal titled Ageless Science, reveal the potential for reversing the biological clock. The study focused on understanding the cellular processes and genetic factors that contribute to aging. Scientists identified the key genes and molecular pathways that, when manipulated, demonstrated a remarkable reversal of aging-related markers in laboratory experiments. Dr. Samantha Turner, lead researcher on the project, expressed her excitement about implications of their discovery. She says, "For the first time, we have tangible evidence that the aging process may not be irreversible as once thought. Our research suggests that targeted interventions at the genetic level could potentially turn back the clock on aging." Now, while the study is still in its early stages, the implications of such a breakthrough are far-reaching. If further research supports these findings, it could lead to the development of innovative anti-aging therapies and interventions. Now, the prospect of slowing down or even reversing aging raises ethical considerations, but scientists are optimistic about the potential benefits for human health and longevity. Now, the scientific community is abuzz with discussions about the new steps in exploring the practical applications of this research. Governments, private organizations, and pharmaceutical companies are already expressing interest in funding further studies to unlock the secrets of aging reversal. Now, as the news of this groundbreaking discovery spreads, individuals around the world are left contemplating the prospect of a future where aging is not an inevitable and irreversible process. While much work remains to be done, the scientific community is taking a giant leap towards unraveling the mysteries of aging and perhaps rewriting the narrative of growing old. So tell me, what would you do if you could reverse your age? Would you? Now, personally, I think I might stay the same age, just only get rid of like the arthritis, the aches and pains. I'm not sure I would want to be around to 100 years old. I guess it depends upon if I have all of my capabilities and able to get around. And maybe that's the whole idea of this study. Hopefully, maybe the concept is not necessarily keeping people living till 120 years old, but they can barely move around and barely function. Hopefully, the idea is more about eliminating the diseases that comes with aging. And maybe we'll all just leave this earth silently in our sleep instead of going in and out of the hospital with medicines and surgeries and things of that sort. Now, in that case, I think it's a good idea, but we'll see with time. Angela Heath is an award-winning entrepreneur, speaker, and author of Do the Hustle Without Hassle, a guide to the online freelance economy for people ages 45 and over. For over 20 years, she's led a successful consultancy and traveled the country speaking and training. When her child was diagnosed with cancer, Angela began exclusively helping clients earn income on their own by using what they already know, combined with 21st century technology. By creating a number of AI generators, simple and inexpensive business tools, she helps clients accelerate the road to increased profits. Today, Angela Heath is living her best life and sharing her gifts with others around the world. Angela, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited about it.
So, you speak globally. Please share your message and what your company does to help your clients.
So basically, the easiest way to understand what I do is I help people become self-employed, and I help self-employed people grow their businesses. And I do it a couple unique ways. But my message is always about you have something in you that is very unique. Your skill set, your experiences, your expertise, nobody else has the exact same combination. So you have no competition. You're swimming in blue ocean, and I want to help people swim as far as they want to go.
So, our message that we're focusing on today is accessing your money making options. Please share what that means.
Sometimes people think that the only way they can earn income is by doing the more traditional approach. Back in the olden days, we would have to create this huge business plan, and we'd have to have teams to support us and all of these things. And we can still do that if we're building a kind of business where we need financing. But today, the opportunities are endless. People are taking skills and talents and interest that just 10 years ago, they could have never made any income with it. But today, all things are possible. Almost all, maybe not quite all, but pretty much all things are possible. And so we just need to explore who you are in order to determine what you might be able to offer in the marketplace.
Okay, well, give me some ideas of, I guess, former clients and some of the avenues that you've guided them into as far as business making, money making opportunities.
I give you an example of a young woman who was a virtual assistant. Well, she still is. And she came to one of my classes on how to create a book in order to grow your business. And we use AI tools. And she was so doubtful that she could ever create her own book, but she was able to. But in addition to that, with the coaching that goes along with that program, she determined, oh my gosh, I can train other people on how to be virtual assistants. And I can also train them on how to use some of the more common AI tools so that they can work faster and be more excellent. She was able to offer her first webinar on how to become a VA using AI tools. And she made more money in that one webinar than she did an entire month working for me. I call that success. I won't give out her numbers, but I call that success.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned virtual assistant because that is a booming self-employment remote position right now, business. So what are some other businesses out there that people can pursue?
I don't want people to be pigeonholed. So if you think about what do people need, especially the people who are working online, content is king. Everyone needs content. So writing and editing services are very fruitful, as well as graphic design. Everybody working online is going to need some kind of graphics, from a logo to illustrations and everything else. So those are very popular also. Anything with helping people to manage their own online presence, whether it's their social media or if it's their actual business, are very popular. But we don't want to stop there. We don't want to stop there because think about it. There are people who have actually made 6 and 7 figures with and like things that they have interest in, like talents that they've developed that they never could have made money with before. I interviewed a guy one time who told me that he earned, I think it was about 40, 50, 60, somewhere around there, $1,000. And he did it so quickly because he was going to show his son how to play baseball. And he started training him. The older son recorded it on his iPhone. They put it up online and they sold it as a training. So for a couple hours worth of work, he made somewhere between $40,000 and $60,000. So we don't want people to think, oh, I don't have the skills, because some of those talents could be very fruitful.
Okay. And what is your process for helping people to find those talents and those skill sets?
Well, I usually do a couple things. I love to use AI tools as a supplement. But basically, all you need to do is go back, all the way back. Don't just think of the last job you had, your last job description. Go back. Make a list of your skill set, those old certifications that you don't do anything with. Think about classes maybe that you even took in college that you liked way back then, but you never used them. Be exhaustive. List all of those skill sets. And don't forget to list some of the soft skills, like being a good organizer or a fabulous communicator or whatever that may be. You also want to look at some of your hobbies. Some of your skills may also be hobbies. Look at those hobbies. What are the things you enjoy doing? Just make that list. And as you look across that list, you may see there's some synergy there. You may see that there is a hobby that you can combine with a skill to create something a little bit different. It may become very obvious to you once you look across and see, who are you in totality? So start with you, all of you first, before you do anything else.
So you're targeting mainly the audience that are over 45. Why are you pursuing that age range? Is there a reason?
Yes, I love the age group, first of all, because I'm a gerontologist. So that is something that I've done professionally for years. And I've studied the current baby boomers, I've studied them for a few decades. And so I understand them really well. I know that baby boomers come to the marketplace with a lot of skills. They have so many skills and passions and interests. Now, what has happened to many of the 45 plus year olds, so there's some Xers are in there too. But what has happened is life has told us, oh, you can never make any money off art. You'll be a starving artist. Or life has told us, nobody is going to buy knitting skills. Does anybody even knit these days? So for people 45 and plus, we have what it takes and we have options that we can pursue. But sometimes we've just never given it a chance. So I love working with people that I know they've got expertise that they can offer and the market will buy it.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned art because I did a workshop a few years ago where there was a woman, she was an artist and a teacher, but she was stumped because she really wanted to be able to sell her art, but she just couldn't figure out how to do that. She didn't continue, unfortunately, with the coaching, but she was just very miserable and unhappy. And then actually a couple of years ago, I met a retired nurse who wanted to sell, I think she was making some purses she was from Africa. So she wanted to make some purses and, that type of deal as her own business. So I guess my question would be is how does AI tie in with that? And because I think the general people think that the only way I could sell those type of art things is to go and sign up at, how they have those I guess,
Mhm.
local places where you could sell outside, sell your products or whatever. I can't think of what they're called off the top, like a farmer's market or something like that. But
Yes.
it's, so I think most people in those type creativities think that they can only sell that way. But I'm guessing from what you're saying is there's a broader audience or broader avenues out there where they can sell.
Right. So one of the tools that I have, it looks at what could be a possible side hustle. And when I use the term side hustle, it doesn't mean that you're not going to do it full time or you're not going to make full time money. It just basically means this is you trying to come up with something where you can test it, test whether or not the market will buy it. So you can use the AI Biz Generator side hustle tool, and it'll help you kind of think through what are some of the possibilities of how you can combine some of who you are together to create something unique. The other piece to that is understanding that there is more than one marketplace. Back in, the older days, there used to be like just one way to do it. But now you mentioned someone who has art. A person who sells art, of course, they could do, the local art displays. They can also look at some of the online places like Etsy or Amazon to sell their wares. They can also auction online. So they create it, they find a community of people who are really interested in art, and they can host live auctions where people can bid. They have to think creatively. Art. Who could use art other than the individual, and how could they use art? For example, I know a person who creates murals. She's an artist for corporations. I know someone who does quilting and sells it to corporations. The corporations then will auction off the quilts to help other nonprofits. So you have to think there's more marketplaces than ever before, and you can even think there's probably somewhere on the earth where people love American artists. Do a little research. You don't just have to stick to US. Maybe in the US, people say, seen that before, but maybe you take it to another marketplace, and you can do that very easily online these days. And you are an American artist and you tell an American story behind the art, and they say, voila, this is what I've been looking for. This is what I really, really want. So you've got to think outside of the traditional marketplaces. You've got to think outside of the traditional offerings and have multiple ways to sell that art.
Yeah, you got me thinking. I guess she could actually paint on camera and do a TikTok and tell the story behind her painting or something like that. So
There are people, they paint and they illustrate during corporate meetings. They're called meeting illustrators.
okay.
There are
So
some
does
people, I'm
go
sorry?
go on.
No, I was saying they're called meeting illustrators. You've got to think differently. Corporations hire them. They create, they illustrate what's happening in the meeting, and then someone gets to hang it up on their wall.
Hmm. So is that what the AI generator, am I calling it right, tool does? It gives you ideas. What does that do exactly? And it's some of your own creation?
Yes. So I've been teaching people how to earn income on their own for a number of years. And as soon as AI, I jumped on AI. I think ChatGPT was maybe about 15 days old when I learned about AI, and I jumped right in. And as I began to explore it and really get a basic understanding of its capabilities, because I'm not a technologist, but I love technology, I discovered that I could create some tools that not just people who are going solo for the first time, but of people who want to increase their business, their revenue, I can create tools using AI to cut their research time by 80%, to cut their time it takes for them to actually get started by, 60%. These AI tools will do just that. So they take you from soup to nuts, all the way from what can I do with my skills and talents and interests? Give you a bunch of different ideas, and it's going to stimulate something inside of you that you probably have never thought of. Then you go to your next step. Well, are there any competitors out there doing something similar? Because we don't care about competitors. We don't worry about them. We learn from them. So what are the competitors doing? There's a tool for that to help you find competitors so you can understand their strengths and weaknesses and any opportunities that may present for you. Of course, you want to create a marketing plan. Once you sort of understand yourself, you understand your competitors, we've got a tool for that will lay out the marketing plan for you. And your social media comes, and there's actually about 10 tools just for building businesses that we encourage people to use. And then we conduct training, not just on that tool, but that whole process of what we need to do in order to build a business.
Okay, that's great. That would take out the fear of using AI.
These tools are so simple, nobody can mess them up. All of the prompting and engineering and thought processes on the back end. So as long as you know what you want to do and you know who you want to sell it to, it will do all of the heavy lifting for you from that point.
Wow. So are you working with clients? Are the opportunities, are they one-on-one? What's your process? Are there workshops with several people? How does someone contact you and get moving forward?
Well, these tools are so simple that they can actually just go over to aibizgenerators.com and they can work on them on their own. But once they purchase them, then they are entitled to every week. I will work with people one-on-one or in a group every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, just to make sure people aren't stumbling around with it. And then, of course, I do one-on-one coaching, group classes. We have a couple classes that are coming up pretty soon. We're going to do a class for National Entrepreneurship Week in February is, can you build a business in a weekend? The answer is yes. You can build out your entire business, the basic framework of it in one weekend. So we're going to do a condensed version of that for National Entrepreneurship Week. And then we also have a course coming up the whole month of February on how you can write a book that doesn't sound like a robot. It's got your brand brilliance in it, but you're writing a book to build your business.
Okay. So, make this clear for me. So the AI Biz Generator, they could sign up for that, but they're going to walk themselves through it. It lays out how to get them started with their business idea, how to identify their strengths and everything.
Yeah, they can use the AI Biz Generators on their own, but they also have support. They really are very simple. Most people, once they use them, they don't really have any problems with them. Okay. But they can also come to one-on-one coaching for business building, bringing AI to make things quicker and more excellent. Or they can come to some of the group training, but they're AI Biz Generators with an S at the end.com.
Okay, perfect. And is that tied with your website, TKC, for your company? Is that tied to that as well, or is it separate?
It actually is a separate website.
Definitely check out AI Generators.
AIBizgenerators.com.
check out aibizgenerators.com and definitely check out her website as well. That's on the banner right below. And you can explore it on your own, and you can sign up for coaching as well. See, I am technology afraid until I started. And once I get it, I got it. So that's why I was actually asking more information, because I'm like, if a lot of women are out there like me, like, oh, that sounds scary. But it's great to hear it's actually very simple. And if they feel that it's not simple, they have that extra support.
They have backup. Yes.
Perfect. Angela, is there anything else you want to share for our audience before we let you go?
I just want to encourage everybody. If you're in a situation, you have a job that will never tell your boss, but you hate it. You've hated it for years, but it pays the bills. If you're in a situation where you've been laid off, and more people are going to be laid off this year. If you're in a situation where inside of your heart, you've always wanted to strike out on your own, but you just didn't have the courage to do it, I want to encourage you. You will be amazed at what you can do. I collect testimonials of people, not just my clients, but people in general who have done fantastic things with their businesses, people who never intended to make as much money as they have made. They just wanted to do their own thing, be their own boss. And we're like, if I made $80,000, I would be happy. And lo and behold, now this year they made 200,000. So don't worry if you've never done it before. You've got something inside of you that people are already looking for. And if you're going to be using some of these AI or online marketplaces, they're looking for you right now, and they've got cash in hand. So don't be afraid to do you in the marketplace.
And if you're retired and you want to supplement your income, what better way to do that by creating your own business?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Angela.